Deputy Leader of the Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Ravi Shankar Prasad, debating with Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Manish Tiwari. We are talking here about the national impact of a very important state election. Ravi Shankar Prasad and Manish Tiwari, welcome. It's fantastic to have both of you on this one-on-one Congress-BJP debate on a very important day. Mr. Manish Tiwari, what in your view are the lessons of the Karnataka election at a national level?
Well, I think the first takeaway of the Karnataka elections is that the politics of disruption that the Bharatiya Janata Party has practiced has not worked. You know, if you look at Karnataka in the backdrop of events which took place in Parliament, that Parliament was disrupted, it was not allowed to function, key legislation was not allowed to go through with the intent of trying to deflect from the 5 years of misrule in Karnataka. It has not worked for the Bharatiya Janata Party. So I think they need to really introspect about their political strategy. They need to rethink as to whether, disruption is a legitimate parliamentary tactic as they've been preaching for all these years.
Mr. Prasad.
Well, Arnav, let me begin with one very frank admission. We have lost Karnataka and Congress has won. And I think I need to publicly congratulate Mr. Manish Tiwari because he needs a smile, his party needs a smile, because from tomorrow the countdown will start. All the coming state elections and the national election is going to be ours. Therefore, I without any grudge, I grant a wholesome smile for Manish Tiwari and his party for Karnataka victory today. Why we lost Karnataka? After all, we had to choose between power and principles. Even eminent Bangalorean today have considered on different channels that the immediate 3 years of our governance was very good. Then came the whole corruption issue. We tried to convince Mr. Yediyurappa to see reasons. Ultimately, we made him to resign. But thereafter a situation came, he insisted either my way or highway, and we parted company. We have paid the price. Today, I was on some channel where the calculation was made roughly or now that nearly 50 to 53 seats we lost. And the margin of victory of Congress is what Mr. Yediyurappa's party took away from us. Therefore, we have paid a very heavy price for sticking to our principles.
Are you regretting
what is the lesson?
You almost speak as if you are regretting it.
Not the least. On the contrary, we are very proud of it. Now, as far as to respond to Mr. Manish Tiwari's issue on parliament disruption is concerned, Parliament is a place for debate. Parliament is also a place for accountability. There will be a scam after a scam and determined, brazen way not to ensure accountability, whether it is the law minister, whether it is the coal gate, whether it is Mr. Railgate. And we are not sure or now whether in coming week or 10 days, one more scam may not come out in the open. Therefore, we are willing to debate, but we also want to insist accountability. And the central government, Congress-led government, runs away from accountability. That will entail certain confrontation which has taken place.
Mr. Tiwari, 2 points made there, actually 3. One, he says, I will not grudge Manish Tiwari a smile because all elections after this will be ours. Second, he says, we had to choose between power and principle. We chose principle, hinting, in other words, that your party chooses power. Third, he's promising you more disruption because he says you lack accountability on the several gates which have broken out of late. Mr. Manish Tiwari, your response, please, to the BJP.
Well, I think Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad would recall that insofar as they are concerned, the countdown of our government started for them within 15 days of us forming a government in 2004. And that countdown is continuing. It continued till 2009. It will continue through 2014 also. So therefore, if they are under certain delusions, well, I think, I leave it to them to live in the make-believe world that they are in. Insofar as disruption is concerned or political accountability is concerned, I agree with Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad absolutely that government is accountable to Parliament. Now, how do you hold that government accountable? Do you hold that government accountable by debating? Do you hold that government accountable by disruption? He talked about coal gate and rail gate, but all that we've been seeing over the last 3 years from the Bharatiya Janata Party is lung gate. that every time Parliament is convened, you use your lung power in order to disrupt it. And insofar as his third argument is concerned, which he made about principles and politics, I think that's a self-serving argument. Look at the number of people who had corruption charges against them who were given tickets by the Bharatiya Janata Party. They talk about a developmental model. I regret saying this, but I say it with the utmost of humility that the Karnataka model of the BJP was corruption, communalism and crony capitalism, and that's what's been rejected today.
He says we chose principle. Would you deny, Mr. Manish Tiwari, that they chose the difficult decision of removing somebody whose removal could have cost them an election in a state, whereas your party is not even removing somebody whose actions have been clearly and openly pulled up, chastised and questioned by the Supreme Court of India today?
All that I would request you to do, Arnab, is to rewind to your own coverage of the entire Karnataka saga. Kicking and screaming when the whole state was up in arms. They were compelled to take a decision. Now, if they want to make a virtue out of it, 2 years down the line, well, that's an extremely self-serving argument. And insofar as your second point is concerned, I think these are two parallel processes. We went to the People's Court in Karnataka under the leadership of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. He was superintending the elections, and I think the victory in Karnataka, to a very great extent, has a lot to do with the trajectory of that superintendence,
so and
you have to give
him
that. Insofar as the judicial process is concerned, allow me to complete, because the audio is a little strained, so just allow me to complete the argument. Insofar as the judicial process is concerned, we respect the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has made certain observations. They have given certain directions. We are duty-bound to honor whatever the Supreme Court says. And when the matter comes up on the 10th of July, on the other side of the vacation, the court has fixed it in their wisdom. We will address the court through our law officers.
You're buying time. You're
buying time. 10th of July is the next hearing.
Well, you're buying time. I mean, I thought till yesterday your party said wait till Wednesday. Now it's Wednesday, you are saying wait till the next hearing. I think, Manish Tiwari, that does amount to buying time, but I'll let Ravi Shankar Prasad respond, to your very scathing observations, including your observation that it was a compulsion that is your necessity you're trying to make into a virtue, and Ravi Shankar Prasad is right. You did not want to remove Yediyurappa. You attacked the media when we questioned Yediyurappa. Your party leader said the media was motivated against Yediyurappa. Why are you making it an issue of principle today? Are you on solid ground when you say so, Mr. Prasad? Do respond.
First of all, the day the FIR was filed, the next day he was removed. You remember it. We know that we are going to pay a very heavy price. And this marks the difference between the Congress and the BJP, Arnav. They cannot dispense with the services of a law minister who is political lightweight. They cannot dispense with the services of a railway minister surrounded with serious corruption charges who is, I'm sorry to say, the political lightweight. But here is a case, when the crunch came, we sacrificed the chief minister knowing fully well that we will have to pay a big political price. Now, coming to the political accountability part, he is right that it is a forum for debate. But now let me ask a question in view of a senior minister of the government of India telling that Supreme Court's observations are nothing, wait till 10th of July. A debate in the parliament would have led to the same answer. No accountability. In spite of Prime Minister telling inside and outside the parliament when Colgate happened that I promise a free and fair probe. Today was a day when their law minister was seeking to make substantial changes in the status report, where the Supreme Court found that the Joint Secretary of Prime Minister had no business to attend. Two quick points more. The Prime Minister assured the Parliament that I will see to it that all those accused in Sikh massacre of 84 will be given a fair trial and proper conviction. Contrary to that, we have seen how Sajjan Kumar was sought to be protected by investigating agency. Your channel has followed that. Thirdly, again on the question of accountability, the Prime Minister assured both the houses, last point, in the Commonwealth issue, in the wake of Shunglu Committee report, I will take action. Shunglu Committee report gave his stinging observations, file FIR against Sheila Dikshit government. Has anything happened? Therefore, if that is the convention of accountability of this government, then I'm sorry, some confrontation will take place, and we demand accountability, and we shall continue to demand accountability.
A challenge on the issue of accountability thrown back to the minister. Go ahead, Mr. Tiwari, do respond. Our panelists are watching this debate with great keenness, and I'm so sure our viewers are as well. Yes, Mr. Manish Tiwari, your turn now.
I'm very surprised that Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad chooses to make the argument of accountability on a day when they have been decimated by the people of Karnataka for their malgovernance over a period of 5 years. As I earlier said, that their model of governance, which rested on 3 legs, corruption, communalism and crony capitalism, has been rejected by the people. And I'm quite surprised that somebody who is a very distinguished member of the bar, whom I personally hold in great respect, who's been a former law minister of the country, wants us to respond to a sub judice matter, outside the framework of the judicial system. I find that to be completely bizarre. I think it is incumbent upon the government, as it respects the Supreme Court, to maintain the sanctity of institutions and to address the court, try and satisfy the court on the queries which they have raised and honor the directions which they have given.
Who's transgressing? Who's transgressing and who's dodging? Is Manish Tiwari dodging or is Ravi Shankar Prasad transgressing the line? I leave that to the opinion of viewers. Ravi Shankar Prasad, your response. After that, I'm going straight to our panelists. They have a few questions as well on the BJP Congress situation tonight. Ravi Shankar Prasad, the minister, says, you should know better, he says, as a senior lawyer and a member of the bar who he respects. You should know better than to comment on the Supreme Court before the final order comes out.
Well, Supreme Court, does my very good friend Manish Tiwari want that Supreme Court in the order say remove the law minister? Does Mr. Manish Tiwari want that the Supreme Court must say in its order that the Attorney General was found to be speaking a lie? What is the meaning of accountability? Aren't the Supreme Court observation enough, which Arnav Goswami, you have debated ad nauseam today for the whole day and very eloquently? If that is the degree of accountability,
just let him complete.
If that is the degree of accountability, then I'm very pained to say that the nation through times now will see the Congress understanding of accountability. Today, it is not a case of joint secretary in the Prime Minister office trying to fiddle.
Yes,
Law Minister, Attorney General, all were found to be seriously remiss in their duties. Will there be any accountability?
Well, I am quite surprised, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. I almost hear you trying to prejudge or predict the outcome of judicial proceedings. I think this is completely unprecedented. In a matter which is sub judice, in which there is a continuing mandamus, don't you think it is wise to defer to the court? It is appropriate for the government to address and try and satisfy the court, honor the directions of the court, but if you want to use that to deflect from your defeat in Karnataka, then please go ahead and be my guest and have the biggest smile on your face.
Deflecting it, okay.
I think
don't know who's
it is most unfortunate that the former law minister of the country, does not want the incumbent government, to honor the constitutional scheme.
Yes, Mr. Prasad, last response and then we move into our panel.
Very quickly, I'm very sorry to say, the Supreme Court today restraining the CBI from sharing the content of its report with any functionary in the government, including the Director of Prosecution, who is an officer of law ministry in the CBI. The Supreme Court today bringing back Mr. Ravi Kant as a part of investigation. He was shunted out. And the Supreme Court today telling the CBI to respond, should we appoint a retired High Court judge or should we go for the SIT? Are these lessons to be learned for the government of the day on the issue of accountability or not? And my last point is, or no, yes, we have lost Karnataka. Let me say it very bluntly. Suppose we lose the entire country for the sake of argument. Does it give any lease or license to the government of the day to loot the country with no accountability? That is equally important, which we cannot lose sight of.
Important points here. I mean, with due respect to Mr. Manish Tiwari, who says, you cannot discuss issues before the final order of the Supreme Court comes out. The fact of the matter is that the Supreme Court has already said the heart of the CBI report was changed on the suggestions of government officials, and therefore has confirmed that the political executive interfered in the Colgate report. So, Mr. Manish Tiwari, with the greatest of respect to you and your views, my view is that the Supreme Court has torn into the government argument, demolished the government argument as far as Colgate is concerned, questioned how the Joint Secretary and the PMO went to the CBI office to produce the report, told the government you cannot interact with CBI, between the CBI and PMO officials, and also said that the minister cannot ask for interfere in the investigation. He can ask for the status of the investigation. So, Mr. Manish Tiwari, you may say we may not discuss, but the fact is the Supreme Court of India has already made up its minds on these very contentious issues the whole country has been talking about. To my panel, we are going to look at this in detail. To my panel, the question is this.
Because you've made a very long argument, I think it would be just fair that I respond to it.